Hey, it's Ayla, and this is Not That Kind of CEO. Today, we're diving into something every mompreneur bumps into sooner or later. That moment you feel stuck in your business and you can't tell if it's overthinking, perfectionism, or just the weight of trying to do everything while raising tiny humans at the same time. We're talking about adopting a beginner's mindset as a female entrepreneur and why it's actually the fastest way to create clarity, simplify your business, and get your momentum back. If you've been feeling that tug between who you used to be in your business and the identity shift you're stepping into now, or you keep telling yourself you should know this by now, that's in air quotes, this episode is going to feel like a deep breath. We're unraveling our old expert identities, exploring how beginners move with so many more possibilities, and we're looking at the sneaky ways your current mindset might be keeping you stuck. So, if you're ready to restart, to loosen the grip of perfectionism, and to build your business with more ease and less pressure, let's get into it. Hi, I'm Ayla, and I am not that kind of CEO. You won't find me in a fancy corner office, but rather in a quiet corner of my home. I followed a bold vision and built my life and business around it. That's how I ended up in France, where I'm raising two little girls, renovate our 500-year-old castle together with my husband, run a coaching business, and still have space to breathe. After a decade of helping women simplify their business to make room for what matters most, I created this show to help you do the same. Let's build your business around the life you love. Welcome to Not That Kind of CEO. Hello, my dear. Welcome back to Not That Kind of CEO. I am so glad that you're here again today for another episode of Goody Goodness that is going to help you move along in your business and in your life. That's going to help you grow and that's going to help you going to grow your business and just be a calmer person and be the person that you want to be. Today, we're talking about adopting a beginner's mindset because I think we're not doing that often enough. I think that very often we are feeling very important because we are the expert on something and our expert status is what really got us here. You know, we're mastering this and we're experting that. But what's really lovely to do from time to time is just letting it all go and adopting a beginner mindset. This actually came to me when we were just visiting my sister in law back in Holland. She recently had her first baby, a lovely baby boy, and we were visiting her on her birthday. She took us out to a restaurant, which was one of the first moments that she actually went out in public with her baby. Before that, she mostly stayed home. And we were in the restaurant, and she was just fidgeting with him. Like she was pulling off his socks and pulling off his hat and then putting them back on again. And she was just going back and forth, like, what are you doing? And finally, she looked over to me and she said, how do you know if your baby is too cold or too warm? And I was taken aback a little bit because mine are now 6 and 3. So these are not questions that I ask myself. You know, they'll tell me or I'll see it or I just don't care because they don't care. So I was like, oh, you just check their necks. And she just looked at me going, what? I check his neck? What do you mean? Check his, do I look at it or something? Like, oh no, you just stick your finger in his neck. And like, if it's cold, he's probably cold. And if he's sweaty, he's too warm. But, you know, if he's too cold, his lips will turn blue as well. So you'll see it. But, you know, if his neck's really sweaty, he's too warm. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she said something, which is what made me think, because she says, I don't know this because I'm a new mom. And I thought that was very defining, like maybe a bit defensive. Like, I cannot know this because I'm new at this. Like, I've never had a baby before. I am not supposed to know this, something like that. But there is another way you could say this. You could, of course, also say, I don't know this, yet I am still learning everything there is to learn about my new baby. So by putting it like, I don't know this, I am a new mom, you're closing yourself off for learning possibilities. And I am not the pot calling the kettle black. No, I am actually. I just want to say I'm not blaming her because we all do this all the time because when you're confronted with something new, something you don't know, or something that's not working, you very often lean back on an identity that you've given yourself. So in her case, she had given herself the identity of a new mom, and new moms don't know stuff like that yet. This morning, while I had already prepared this podcast, I actually did it myself, where I was talking to someone about the membership that I'm launching this year. And I am just feeling uncertain about the messaging around it. And so I said, you know what, this membership is really, I want this to be a safe place for moms, female entrepreneurs with little kids, where they can come, where they can talk to each other, where they can feel seen, and then where they can grow, personally grow, take things that they need into their daily lives that will make everything easier for them. And that when they adopt it, they will have clearer boundaries. They'll know where they're going. They know what to do when they sit behind their computers because they have a better inner compass. How am I gonna put words to that? How am I going to sell that? Because you can't sell personal growth. You can't say, I'm going to be selling you self knowledge, because everyone will just go, everyone has their ego protecting them. So when you say, I'm going to be selling self knowledge, everyone will go, I already know myself. No, thank you. I don't need that. So I said, you know what? I just need rules. Like, what can I say and what can't I say? Because I'm really a person that, you know what? I'm an RTFM person. Read the fucking manual. I will read the manual of my new electric toothbrush. Literally will read it because it has one button, I know, but maybe there's multiple functions to the button that I will never find out if I don't read the manual. I'm a person who reads the manual, so please give me rules. And then I was thinking, this is so stupid because I should just go out there and test. I should A B test my landing page and write something that's my mind is saying, oh, you can't say that because people will say XYZ. I don't know that they're going to say that. I should just test it. Like, what am I going on about? And that's the whole thing. When you stick an identity to yourself, the risk is that it's narrowing your points of view, and that you're, instead of moving on to something, you're getting yourself stuck. Like, you're getting stuck in the mud because you're just narrowing off your own mind. So adopting a beginner's mindset is something that's so important to do, especially if we find ourselves stuck in some point of our life. You can overthink it, you can read baby books and see if you can figure something out. But the best way to test it is just, feel the baby, see how it's responding, and then adopt. So, what I love about adopting a beginner's mindset is that it's, I'm missing a word here, it's eradicating. As I said, identities. I am a person who needs the manual. I am a new mom. Those are clear identities. But what I'm also talking about are these little things that we say about ourselves. I really should know this by now. Should you? Did you change? Did anything change? Maybe you did know it before, but should you still know it now? Really? Another one is, I can't do it all at once. That's just really limiting yourself. But can you? Can you really not do it all at once? Or is that something that once was true and now you think still is true? But if you looked at it maybe from a beginner's point of view, maybe you could do it all at once? Who knows? What I love when you do this is there are things that are happening. You are automatically letting go of perfectionism. Because when you're a beginner, you're not expecting it to be perfect because, you're just a beginner. What do you know? You can't expect it to be perfect. And then once you have that, you're going to ask better questions, because as a beginner, you're allowed to ask questions, right? Like, if you're an expert, you shouldn't be asking questions. But as you're a beginner, you can ask as many questions as you like. You can ask bad questions, but you could also really ask good questions about the thing that you're stuck on. I'll get to a few examples in a bit on where you could be stuck and how this will solve it. But as you are letting go of perfectionism, as you are asking better questions, what happens is that you're gaining momentum again because you're going to do something and it's not going to matter what the outcome is because you let go of the perfectionism. And if it's not going the way you want it, you're going to ask another question and see if that changes it. So these three things are really something that can move you along in something where you're stuck. There is a nice little acronym. I think the word is acronym, but I always get like analogy and metaphor and acronym. I always get these mixed up, but I think it's an acronym. It's restart. Isn't that wonderful? Restart, RESTART. The R stands for releasing control. When you find yourself stuck in something in your business, say you're overcomplicating creating your content, you're going to release control. Let's start there. Because in the case of creating content, there is what the experts what the experts are saying that you should say. You need to create a hook. You need to create a visual hook. Yeah, the caption needs to have a hook. Hashtags are dead, but you do need to have a DM automation set up. This is what you need. And then there's the algorithm. Oh, it changed again, but now carousels are the way to go. Drop your reels, start making carousels. Oh, okay. But you're overcomplicating content. So you're just going to release control. You're going to release all of that. That's where you start out. Then the second thing that you do is you're going to explore with curiosity. So you're going to explore. Maybe you're going to explore what people are saying about how you could show up on Instagram nowadays. That's something you could explore other people's opinions. You could explore experts on the matter. You could explore a podcast made from by the boss of Instagram. You could also look inward and explore what you want to say. You could ask your clients what do they want to hear. There are many ways you can explore. Important thing is that you explore with curiosity, that you're actually open to what you're going to find. Because if you're going to look at it from your expert status that you're now dropping, you're going to criticize things that you see. You're going to judge the videos that you're seeing on what's working now. You're just going, no, it won't. Like, that's weird. Like, no, maybe you think it's weird, but apparently something clicks here for someone. So be curious about what they're saying. Then the S, restart. You're gonna simplify. Because very often when we're stuck, we're overcomplicating things. Here we go again with the identities, but I am very good at overcomplicating things and then stopping. I am renovating a room. Well, actually, I'm doing multiple rooms right now. I thought, you know what? I can batch create content. I can also batch renovate my castle. I'm just going to do it. If I'm going to be filling holes, I might as well fill holes in 4 rooms at the same time. The problem is that the hallway upstairs has a different type of humidity than the rooms here downstairs, because the rooms downstairs aren't heated, they're cold, they're damp. Right now, the walls are cracking, and I need a different tactic. So instead of now actually just moving along in the hallway upstairs, I am overcomplicating things because I first need to find a solution for the situation downstairs, because I got it into my head that I'm going to batch fill holes in walls, but I need different products to fill different holes. It's just grab the stuff, go fill holes, simplify. And this goes for overcomplicating creating content as well. If you're gonna be looking at new ways, perfect, then go do them. Don't try to make it into a content strategy for the next 5 years. Do it for a week. Simplify. Just do something. Okay? Then we have the T, restart, which stands for trust. Trust your intuition, to be precise. Because you very often already know what you need, but it's your old self that's holding you back. You already know that you need to make creating content easier. Need to happen. You need to make it happen more quickly. You need to say what your heart wants to say. It can be anything. You already know what it is. I can make up stuff, but it won't be true because you need to trust your intuition. So whatever you find, you're going to be judging it either by your old self, which you shouldn't be doing here. Try to look at it with curiosity and then trust your intuition. Is this going to work for me? Yes or no? Like, if people out there are saying that for December 2025, if you want to grow on Instagram, you really need to post 5 reels per day. You could just go, okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I could do that. But if your intuition is already telling you that's not feasible for you right now because you have a very busy life, then you already know it that that's not the way to go for you. Like, why complicate it even further? Then we have the A, restart. Act A for act imperfectly. Imperfectly, please. Just go do it. Because if you're a beginner, you're not worrying about doing it expertly. You're not worrying about doing it perfectly because you are not expecting that from yourself. And you don't think other people would be expecting it from you either. If tomorrow there would be a new social media platform, and let's pray that there won't be, but if tomorrow there would be a new platform, we would all get on there and we would all be beginners. We would just all try something out until something works, either for you or for the system or for your clients, for whatever way it's going to work. But we're all going to show up and acting imperfectly. So, this is what you should be doing in a beginner's mindset as well. And then we have the R towards the end of restart, which stands for reflect. If you're going to do something new in a way that's new for you, at least, reflecting on how it's going is the least you can do. Or you could just, pull a bag over your head and just keep going no matter what happens. But it's wise to reflect on things while you're doing them. That's nice. And then you could also refine them. If you find that for you, it's the easiest right now to create talking head reels. Perfect. You're making it work. Like, this is new for you, but you're making it work. Now you're going to refine them. What are they going to be about? What are topics that you like to talk about? You just reflected and you saw what your target audience wants you to talk about. Okay. And then refine that further so you can get more progress and make it even easier and let it flow better. And then the T stands for try again because that's what's going to happen. You're going to restart, you're going to be adopting a beginner's mindset, you're going to be creating content, you're going to be working it all out into a system that works for you, into content that works for you. And then in a while you're going to get stuck again because things keep changing, you keep changing, the algorithm keeps changing again. And you know what? Maybe that new platform will actually come. You're gonna try again. And isn't that fun? And that's because that's when you say that, people are just going, oh my God, I have to try it again. Yeah, because life is a lifelong lesson. You're here to keep growing, you're here to keep learning. Isn't that wonderful? Like, I think that's wonderful. Imagine if you were just like finished at 21. No, this is who you are now. The rest of your life, you're going to be acting as the person you were at 21. You're an adult now. This is how you're going to stay for the rest of your life. Imagine. Wouldn't that be boring? I love learning. I love learning about myself. I love adopting new things as life evolves, as the world evolves. So, whatever you do, when you have a beginner's mindset, you're just going to keep going back to it and try something new again and again and again. I think that's wonderful. In Zen Buddhism, there's a thing that they say, which is the beginner has many possibilities while the expert only has few. And that's something to keep in mind for you. If you hesitate about adopting a beginner's mindset because you feel that if it's not working, you're failing, you should know better, it should be working for you. You by now I should know how this works. Like, no, you're narrowing your own possibilities if you're labeling yourself as an expert. While if you're labeling yourself as a beginner, these possibilities just keep on coming for you. It remains open. So I gave overcomplicating content as an example here to use the restart framework on. But this would also go if, for example, you have an offer that's draining you. So, what I see happen very often is that women start a business, a lovely business, because you, mm, like most of us, maybe not all of us, but most of us start a business because we have a wonderful idea. We want to help the world. We think we can create an impact by helping others do XYZ. Like, isn't that why you started a business in the first place? So say, for example, that I'm a coach for female entrepreneurs with little kids, and I'm helping them find a balance between their business and their lives, which I do, by the way. But I'm offering this through a one-on-one container, and only that. And this is used to be my situation. I was a VA, and then I started to coach people more than I was actually doing optimizing their businesses and streamlining their businesses. I was actually more interested in helping them with their mindset and helping them breaking open and growing as a person. Because if you're not looking inwards, like, all these tools are, they're not really going to create the transformation for you. You can create the transformation for you. Never rely on something external to actually do it for you. So that's what I realized after a lot of working as a VA, that I was always doing these systems and trying to help them grow. But if in their mind they stayed stuck, like, you can throw all the systems in the world at them, they're not going to change. Sorry, I went on a tangent there. So I pivoted to coaching, one on one coaching. There are only so many hours in a week that you can do one on one coaching. So there comes a time where the offer that got you where you are today is draining you. This is coaching. I mean, if you're a photographer, this would stay true as well. Even if you are already in a business that's scalable, if you're not hiring the team, if you're not actually scaling it, the offer that you have can still drain you very much. But what happens a lot is that this is the offer that got you into business. This is the offer that you built. This is what you started with. This is the reason why you went into business. Like, hell no, not gonna change this offer, but it's draining you. Why wouldn't you change this offer? That's the offer that got me here. Like, I'm not touching that. That's not a beginner mindset. What if today, like, your business doesn't exist? Your dream still does. The impact you want to make still exists. The audience that you want to serve still exists. But what if today you were to start this business? How would you go at it then? Because by now you have kids. By now your life has changed. By now, I don't know, your surroundings have changed. Things have changed. You are a different version today than you were back then. So if, like, your intrinsic motivation stays the same, but you have to start it from today, what would it look like? That's a beginner mindset. Restart. See what's out there, let go of the control, do the research, be curious about it, let go of perfectionism, and try to start it. I'm not saying burn your bridges and, what, throw the offer out the window without having something new. No. But look at other ways that could get you the same results that you have today, but it's not draining you anymore. I really hope that this has helped you because, well, as I said, it's very often that when we think of adopting a beginner's mindset, it must be because we're a failure, because we're not good at something. But sometimes it's because we're too good at something, because we're too ingrained into the old rhythms that we have. You're thinking from a past version of yourself. And that's a shame because you're not that person anymore. You're not that version anymore. That's what I love. That's what I said already. It's you're you now, but tomorrow you could be a different person. You need to adapt along the way. And I hope that when I talked about the areas of your life or of your business where you could get stuck, I hope you're open to what came up because I know something came up. It always happens. You could have gotten into this episode with openness and curiosity, and then your mind gives you somewhere where you're like, oh, yeah, this is where I'm stuck. And then you very immediately go, I'm not going to change that. I don't want to change that. That's your ego keeping you safe again because change is uncomfortable. Change can be uncomfortable. You don't want to pluck the goose with the golden eggs and stuff like that. But sometimes it's necessary for you to break through and to move forward and to become a happier, better version of yourself. So be open to what came up when I talked about things that can be stuck in your life. And then be courageous and see what happens if you actually restart it. So thanks for listening, and I will see you in another episode. In the meantime, if the membership that I talked about at the beginning is something that you might be interested in as well, I'll put a link in the notes of this episode where you can go and where you can get on a priority list so you can get any news for when it's happening. Because I'm really looking forward to opening this membership. It's something that I've been wanting to do for a while now. And I'm really looking forward, like, I don't know who they are yet, but I'm really looking forward to the group of women that's going to come in there, because I think we're going to make it such a magical space where we can really see each other, where we can support each other and grow together. Because I think that when you grow, you can grow together and everyone can learn. And when we do that, our kids see what's possible. And it's just, oh, it's magical. So, yeah, if that's you, please put your name on the priority list and I can keep you informed on what's happening there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to Not That Kind of CEO. If this episode gave you clarity, encouragement, or just even a moment to breathe, I'd love it if you left a review. It helps more women like you find this show, and that means the world to me. And if you're ready to build a business that fits your life, you know where to find me. See you in the next episode.